All right, I think we're going to start now. It's 4:30. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for coming to our virtual trip to Jamaica this afternoon. Welcome, Belinda. I see you just joined us as well. Thank you all for being here. Today we've got a special presentation all about Jamaica. Sorry, getting everything together. Okay. Um, there's something really special about Jamaica that makes me really excited to talk about it today. But before we get into that, I'd love to introduce myself. I'm Lori Foster. I'm a travel advisor and the owner of Luxury Travel Associates Dream Vacations. I live in Southern California, but I'm from New York. I've been in the travel industry, well, in and out for about 25 years. But today is all about Jamaica. So during the presentation, if there are any questions that you have or anything you might think about, there is a chat feature here in your toolbar, and you can put a question in there, and if we can answer it during the presentation as we go along, or at the end, we will be sure to look at all of those and answer them for you. Just a quick video to get you excited about Jamaica before before we get into everything. Well, I hope that got you a little excited to show you some of the beauty of Jamaica. And while we always see the beautiful pictures, I thought it was important to show you some personal pictures. Jamaica is one of my favorite places in the Caribbean. And so these are our personal pictures, a few that I'd like to show you. And this one is the sunset in Negril. It's a great way to see, it's one of the best places to see the sunset right on the west coast of Jamaica. And this is just an iPhone picture, and look at the beauty of it. We were standing in the water and everyone just stopped and turned around and looked and watched the sunset. Um, I've been to pretty much most of the Caribbean islands, and while they're all beautiful and they're different, and the people are nice, there's something about the Jamaican people that make them my favorite. I'm sure you hear people say that all the time, but I can definitely say for certain that it's true. This was a trip a year or two ago, and the bartender, we were talking about Scotch bonnet peppers and how they're Jamaican hot peppers and how I grow them at home and how I love them and I love spicy drinks. And all of a sudden she disappeared. And I'm waiting in 10 minutes and I'm thinking, gosh, I'd like to order a drink. All of a sudden she comes back with a handful of the peppers. And if you look up there, the yellow and the red and the orange are fresh Scotch bonnet peppers that she picked and then proceeded to make a special drink for me with the peppers. So just the hospitality and the friendliness of them is something that makes them different. Another popular meal item is ackee and saltfish in the bottom right. If you look at that, it looks like scrambled eggs, but it's Diane, who is with us, who I will be introducing you to, can probably mention a little more about exactly what it is. If it's a fruit or a vegetable, I'm not sure. But they usually serve this for breakfast, and there are Jamaican dumplings there, which are almost like hush puppies, like a fried dough. And if I'm saying this right, it's callaloo, I believe, the greens. So it's just delicious food. Living in California, I don't get to see too many thunderstorms. So whenever we get a good storm in Jamaica, it's really exciting for me. So, but again, they come and go pretty quickly. So it's fun to just enjoy the thunder and lightning. Look at the dark, look at that sky. Now, this is a picture I took from the famous Rick's Cafe and the Grill. Um, it's where the cliff divers jump off, and it's beautiful, and just another experience that you have to see when you're in Jamaica. And I think another thing that makes Jamaica different is that on many islands, people go to the resorts and they stay at the resorts. And there's so much culture and food and people and so many things to do and see in Jamaica that you definitely do not want to stay at your resort the whole time. Just a quick little map to show you where Jamaica is. It's in the West Indies, so it's below Cuba and it's to the west of Haiti and the Dominican Republic there. And if you look, this is, that's where Cancun and Cozumel, Mexico are. So it's an easy flight, and Diane's going to tell you a little more about that. But I would like to introduce Diane Holland. She's a business development manager for the West Coast with the Jamaica Tourist Board. She's a good friend of mine. I've known her for years. She's a wealth of knowledge and a really nice person. And I'd like to welcome you, Diane, and thank you for joining us today.
What a lovely introduction. Thank you so much, Lori. Thank you so much, everyone. Lori does as well. And, you know, Lori, I'd like to share my screen if you don't mind.
Is it? Oh, mine's still on. I'm sorry. I thought I stopped it. Let me stop.
Give me a moment here. Yes,
oh, there you go.
Again, I'm Diane Holland. I'm with the Jamaica Tourist Board. And I've known Lori, yes, for a long time, because, you know, the Jamaica Tourist Board supports the travel advisor. And we, the Jamaica Tourist Board, we can market the destination. There's no way we can sell it. So we need people who know the destination, who are professionals. And Lori is one of them. She's actually one of our top Jamaica specialists. And this is why I took the time when she asked me. I didn't even hesitate. Of course, of course, of course.
Thank you, Diane.
Oh, of course.
And I have to also let them know that the Jamaica Tourist Board was the first time with them, was the first time that I'd gone to Jamaica, and they showed me this beautiful country, and I fell in love from then on. So thanks to them, to the Tourist Board.
That's the thing about Jamaica, you know, once you go, we had a slogan once that really said it right. Once you go, you know. It's true about Jamaica. Once you go, you always want to go back, and you know why it is that this tiny island so much has come out of. But today, you know, I was looking at Lori's website and I came across a quote that she had there, and it's just so true. A vacation is an investment which requires the assistance of an expert to provide an extraordinary vacation planning experience. That is so true, and that's what Lori does to the max. And
thank you,
oh, of course, you do it so easy, Lori. And another reason why you should use a travel advisor, in case anything happens. We're in different times now. And I know sometimes you think it's so easy to go on, why can't I do it myself? What if the what ifs happen? You have no one to go to. Typically, the airlines will tell you, listen, I can't help you, or you have to wait from now until tomorrow. The hotel's the same. not to mention if you book through a third party. And Laurie knows where to find me. She knows other people in the industry as well. So she is the one that can represent you properly. And Laurie, you gave such a lovely introduction to Jamaica. I am just going to run through this.
Yeah, thank you. Because
But
it's
for
from the
those
heart.
who, it is, and I love that. I love that you shared your personal photos. And a lot of the photos here, and it's not long, ladies and gentlemen, are my personal photos, including this one, which is a villa. And ladies and gentlemen, Jamaica is so diverse. Any kind of accommodation that you might think of, speak with Laurie. Booking a destination is not a matter of just hitting keys. She will interview you. She'll know your likes, your dislikes, your loves, and she will find it for you. There's so many different category hotels in Jamaica, and Laurie knows about all of them. So speak with her, anything that comes to mind, and trust me, if nothing comes to her mind right away, guess what? She's going to come to me.
Yep.
Jamaica is not only my birth country, this has been my job for 41 years. This is all I know. I market my destination, and I've done it so long because not so much that they pay the bills, but because Jamaica is a passion of mine. There's something about Jamaica that makes it different from everywhere else. It's not just a hotel, it's not just a beach, it's everything that Jamaica has to offer that makes it what it is. And I mentioned it's beach, it's the music, it's the flavor, it's the nature, it's the joy. Very important, the people, but you can't help but to fall in love with this island. And again, just to give you an idea where we are, I know Laurie showed it before, we're in the Caribbean. And the difference with the Caribbean Sea, not the ocean, and say the Pacific, the Caribbean Sea is only a couple degrees lower than the air temperature of Jamaica, and it's 85 degrees average year round. We don't have definite seasons. So if you can imagine, our water is just as warm and beautiful as well. We're located just below Cuba and a very short stop from Florida. Unfortunately, if you're living in the West, there are not currently no nonstop flights. But as we say in Jamaica, it's easy to get there because the connections are there, and Laurie knows best how to get there quickly. To give you an idea, from Florida, say Miami to Jamaica, it's only an hour, 20 minutes flight time. If you should go from Los Angeles nonstop to Jamaica, and Laurie, we're hoping to get back another nonstop
I
somewhere
know.
down the line.
I missed that.
If you've ever gone from Los Angeles to Hawaii, sorry to mention in another destination, it's the same flight time. So Jamaica is the same flight time from Los Angeles as it is to Hawaii. So that gives you an idea. But before you go, there are a couple things I need you to know about the times that we're in. And Jamaica, after closing down after this unfortunate pandemic, we reopened on June the 15th. However, we have put and we're calling them temporary, because before, all you need is proof of citizenship, which would be your passport to enter Jamaica. But in addition to that, we're asking you to fill out a travel authorization. And that's a pretty easy document. And we also are asking that you upload a PCR COVID negative test. And we are a little different to many destinations in the Caribbean. That test can be within 10 days of arrival in Jamaica. That must be uploaded to this site. You're asked a couple questions. And there are a couple of requirements that this test must have. So before you run out and get a test, ask Lori or jump on our website and look at the requirements. It must be a PCR test, not a home test, not a Pixie test, and it must include things like your name, your legal name that's on your travel document. Make sure that it is a CAP approved or CLIA approved lab that did it. But don't worry, there all of this is listed here on the website for you, the requirements for that document. But don't worry about it. It is a simple document, and our website also gives you walk through things for you and make it easy. It even tells you the earliest date you can collect your COVID sample for the test, and everything. It walks through it for you. Just take care, and I know Lori can fill it out for you as well. So she will make sure that she completes it correctly. But if you are doing it yourself, just take your time. It's very simple, but sometimes the simplest things we make an error on, like especially when there's a drop down field, you tend sometimes to move so fast that you don't realize that you put September instead of October for your date of birth. Just make sure that all the information is correct, because it takes up to 2 days to get your authorization, and it will make it so easy because each of these application forms are looked at by human eyes. They make sure that everything in place. And once you have all the information, and it's not a lot of information, and but first, when you enter the area where you start to fill out the form, you're going to be asked whether you live in Jamaica. So you don't, so you typically would put no. Then they ask you for an email where they would correspond with you. They send you a one-time password. And then once you go back in, sign in 5 days before your departure. So you have up to 5 days before the day you depart to fill out this form. You go in and you're asked a number of questions. Many of them are the typical questions you'd fill out for, say, an immigration form if you're traveling. And it also populates those forms for Jamaica. So just take care when you're filling out the form. So that's simple. And Lori, she'll do that for you, don't worry. And you know, how you get to Jamaica. There are so many ways of getting there. And of course, Lori would find the most convenient airline or your airline of preference, but just to give you the airlines that service Jamaica from the US. So there they are. And now that you're here, gotta tell you a little bit about us, the Jamaicans.
The fun part now.
Yeah, the fun part, because you know, our biggest asset is our people. We have beautiful hotels. Our scenery is breathtaking. Everything about Jamaica is wonderful, but there is a big plus to our people. It's our people that make Jamaica really what it is. And before I go into a little about our people, what makes us very special, there's this lovely green, gold, and black flag that we all are so proud of. And if you ever come across a Jamaican, we always have our flag somewhere on us. And if you ever come across someone that's Jamaican, ask them where their flag is, if it's not obvious. Here is mine. Our flag is always on us in our presence. The reason why this flag is so important to us is that each color of the flag has a special meaning to us. The green for the natural vegetation and how beautiful Jamaica is. Gold for the sunshine and all the wonderful things that have happened to us. The Black, for the majority of people on island, 90% of Jamaicans are of African descent. So we were under slavery for a couple of years. But when slavery was abolished, we needed people to continue to work in the plantations. So people came from all over the world, and we became a melting pot of people from all over the world. But before I get into that, the Black also means adversities to come and the ones we have overcome. And there is never an adversity that Jamaica has never overcome. We are such a resilient set of people, and that's what makes us special as well. This is just there. Our motto is actually out of many, one people. And this is there to show some of the faces that you'll see when you get to Jamaica. So, it's very hard to say what a Jamaican looks like. You're familiar with Tessanne Chin, the former winner of the Voice contest. She's part Chinese. We have quite a Chinese population in Jamaica. You name it. I mentioned that after slavery was abolished, people came to continue work in the plantations. They came to Jamaica, but guess what? They never left. So Jamaica became a melting pot of people from all over the world. And we all just consider ourselves one. If you ask any of us in Jamaica, what are we? My best friend is full Chinese. Her mother and father were from China. However, she was born and brought up in Jamaica. But if you ask her, you see her with me, you ask her where she's from, she'll tell you first that she's Jamaican until you start to dig a little further and you say, okay, what were your parents from? Then she'll go into that. But that's how we are. We love the name Jamaicans. Also, another thing that Jamaicans typically don't do, we don't choose a race. On application forms, when we see race, we always choose other, because we always think that we are a blend of people, so we are other. So we're just fun people. So if you can imagine, we have adopted a little of everyone's culture and just made it our own. A little more about Jamaica. We're about the size of Connecticut. And that what that basically means, by the way the bird flies east to west, we're about 145 miles long. And at its widest point, we're about 55 miles wide. Our capital city is Kingston, but our tourism capital is Montego Bay. We have a population of just under 3 million people, with just over 1 million people living in our capital city, Kingston. Jamaica, there are just so many things about Jamaica that people don't know. We own the fastest man and the fastest woman in the world. You know why? Because no one can tell a Jamaican that we can't, because we'll go to length to prove you that you're wrong. So we own the fastest man and the fastest woman in the world. I mentioned about our flag. It is one of two in the world that has no colors of the United States flag in it. So we consider that very unique. The pineapples that Hawaii is so famous for were introduced from Jamaica. We were the first country in the Western Hemisphere to construct a railway, even before the US. Can you imagine that? And we were the first Caribbean country to launch a website. The Jamaica Tourist Board, back then it was Jamaica Travel, now it's visitjamaica.com. We were the first country to produce, Caribbean country to produce rum on a commercial basis. And even more recent, we own the current reigning Miss World. And because what has happened this year, she has gotten the opportunity to reign another year. So we own the current Miss World title, and Jamaica is the only other country other than India, Venezuela, and the UK that have won more than we have. Our music, reggae is our music. It doesn't matter where you hear reggae music, it leads back to Jamaica. It's our music. And all the James Bond novel. Look out for the new movie that's coming out in November. They were all written in Jamaica when Ian Fleming retired there. And how did he come up with this name 007? Well, James Bond, he saw a book on the table, Birds of the West Indies by James Bond. And that's how he came up with this name, James Bond. I was looking to see if I could find it here, but I actually have that book on me.
I didn't know that.
Jamaica, yeah, yep. It actually is a book called Birds of the West Indies by James Bond. Look it up. So all his novels were written in Jamaica. Jamaica was the first country to impose economic sanctions on the apartheid regime of then South Africa. Yes, little Jamaica. And we own the world's first female master blender. So that lady at the bottom of the screen, she is the world's first female master blender. Now there are only 3 of them. She is assigned to Appleton Estate. So she has to actually inspect, sip, taste all the liqueurs and the alcoholic beverages before they go to commercial use. But, you know, I mentioned Jamaica does appeal to all your senses. So what we've done, and we open up the entire island for you to come and explore. But before I go into that, you may see 2 icons of airplanes here. Those indicate our 2 international airports. Technically, there is a 3rd international airport located just east of Ocho Rios. If you own your private planes, still not accommodating the commercial jets just yet. But these 2 are the most important airports, and Laurie will know which is best to fly you into, because you may look at Ocho Rios and see Kingston is a little closer. Actually, it is. About 4 years ago, it wasn't so, because the drive from Kingston to Ocho Rios back then used to take almost 3 hours. Now they've widened the road and it's taking just over an hour from Kingston to Ocho Rios. But Laurie knows the hotels that would offer transfers if you go into Kingston, but it is one of your options to fly into Jamaica. But Montego Bay is a main airport for tourism right now. And I'll go into a little about each of the areas for you. And I'll start with Kingston, our capital city. We call the heartbeat of Jamaica. This is because this is where our seat of government is located. Most of the businesses are headquartered. Most of our art galleries, museum, everything that has to do with culture is located here. So a true feel of the culture, make sure you take a trip to Kingston. Have Laurie book you a split stay, so you stay in Kingston part of the time and Ocho Rios or some other place. But if I may go back a bit, while Jamaica is open, we unfortunately, we're not currently allowing everyone to just roam the island just yet, because we have opened up what we call the resilient corridors. And those run from the south coast of Jamaica along the beach, around the tip of Negril, and all the way to Port Antonio. So if you look on the map of Jamaica, it's from the south, heading east, heading west around the tip and to the eastern point of the island. But as soon as Jamaica opens up, please, ladies and gentlemen, we encourage you to come and explore. But in the meantime, some attractions are opened and you are allowed to go and visit those attractions. But going back to Kingston, these are some of the places that you can visit. Port Royal was once considered the richest and the wickedest city in the world because it was home to the Buccaneers, pirates, our theaters. Oh my gosh, Bob Marley Museum, just so much in Kingston. And Kingston has the sixth largest natural harbor, so there is a cruise port there as well. Port Antonio in eastern part of Jamaica we call naturally. Not a lot of hotels are here, but you can find some there, and it is the backdrop to our highest mountain range because the mountain forms the spine of the island with the highest mountain range located in this area. So of course you get a lot of rainfall. So it's so beautiful. While you're in Port Antonio, so much to see. Rafting, I know Laurie mentioned the Martha Brae. Here's an opportunity to raft down the river. And it's a calm water rafting. For the most part, the water is no more than about, say, 4 feet deep. And so while you're going down, he's telling you everything about the flora and fauna. During this trip is almost 2 hours long, but the other one that Laurie showed you a picture of is only 45 minutes. So you have opportunities to see different sections. And Reach Falls, oh, so much to do in Port Antonio. Then I'm heading, if you remember the map of Jamaica, I'm east, so I'm heading west. So you're in Ocho Rios now. Ocho Rios is we consider the centerpiece of Jamaica. And when you think of a centerpiece, you think of floral arrangement. It is located in the garden capital of Jamaica. It's not a city. It's where the mountains seem to meet the sea. Some lovely hotels are located here. Again, it's a little over an hour from Kingston and an hour and a half from Montego Bay. And Laurie can find you the right hotel for you here. While you're there, Ocho Rios is where you go if you want to go and visit a different attraction every day. So much for you to do and see, not only in Jamaica, but right there in Ocho Rios, a lot to see and do there. Dunn's River Falls, and just look up about Jamaica. There's just so much to get out and see. Heading a little further west is Montego Bay. We call the complete resort because this is where the plane currently lands for most of our tourism, and you can find something to suit every taste and budget here. Golfers, you're an avid golfer, keep them here in Montego Bay, as you know, Laurie, because there are 5 of the 12 golf courses on island that are located here. And Martha Brae, Laurie showed you about, and of course, a lot of things to do. Gonna head on west to Negril, the capital of casual. Negril is basically 7 miles of beach and another 4 miles of cliff area. So 7 miles that looks like this and another 7 miles that look like that and another 4 miles that look like these two bottom. 3 photos, bottom and right. But just as beautiful, just that you don't have that sandy beach. And sunsets, the most spectacular sunsets you can view from Negril. Then I've turned the corner of Negril, that little tip there, and I've gone to the south coast, what we call off the beaten path. Not many hotels are located right there right now, but there are some beautiful ones awaiting you. And Laurie, have you heard about the Sandals? What's going to be opening in December?
Of course, I was
Oh
there
my
last year,
God.
and it's the all the little rendezvous with the swim ups, right? Is
Laurie,
it or no?
they're opening up a new section in December, and I
Yeah.
saw the photos, and oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I can't wait to go
They're
there.
beautiful.
But the South Coast is what we call the breadbasket of Jamaica. So you'll find a lot of farming here, a lot of community tourism, but you still have some attractions to visit while you're here. Lover's Leap is actually a spot where you get a good 180 view of the South Coast. And this is where it's called that because back in the day of slavery, the days of slavery, a couple decided to run away and they decided to jump to their death because they heard that they were being sought. And so they both jumped to their death instead of being separated. And then to the left is a very, very unique attraction on the South Coast called Floyd's Pelican Bar. Is actually on a sandbar where you have to take a 20-minute little motorized boat ride out to the water. This guy just decided to put up a little bar there and you can get something to eat. It's a fun day. And not to mention Appleton Estate, you can go there to see how rums and liqueurs are produced. So, there's just so much about Jamaica. It is beautiful, and there's no denying that. But it's the vibe, it's the people that will capture your heart. When you go to Jamaica, seek out cultural events, popular activities while you're there. Immerse yourself into the island, and it will make you want to come back. Jamaica is not a one-time visit and you say you don't want to go again because you're going to keep going back because, oh my gosh, I didn't taste that food. I didn't taste that food. And, I mentioned because of our culture, we have so many different cultures that blended into Jamaica. Tell you a little thing. We have adapted a little of everyone's culture. So, Jamaicans, we curry everything. That's from our East Indian tradition. And every Jamaican cook with soy sauce. I don't know if you know that. Every Jamaican. That's from our Chinese tradition. And I don't know if you've heard of tea, hot tea. Every warm beverage in Jamaica. So every hot beverage we call tea. So if you go to Jamaica and want a cup of tea, we don't just gonna give you just any chamomile tea or Earl Grey tea. Well, there's also chocolate tea and there's tea as well. So every warm beverage we actually call tea. And sorry, the smoke here had just given me an awful time. Anyhow, trying to catch my breath. But there are so many other foods in Jamaica that are unique. And Laurie mentioned the ackee and saltfish, which is in the center of my page. Ackee is actually, it's classified as a fruit, but you think of a fruit and you think of it being sweet. It's more like a vegetable. And you cook it and it's cooked with salted codfish. And it's cooked down with onions, that pepper that Laurie mentioned, and a lot of seasoning with she mentioned also our callaloo, which is a spinach, and our breadfruit, which is like a potato, but it can be baked. Oh, so much for you to learn about if you have never been to Jamaica. And our jerk, chicken jerk, fish jerk, that is not the person that's cooking it. It's a way of cooking. In Jamaica, coming back from the time of slavery, before refrigeration, they needed a way to preserve their meats. So Jamaica does have a lot of spices. So it's a seasoned meat with all these spices, mainly pepper and pimento, not pimiento. Pimento is another thing you need to learn about. It mimics about 5 spices. So all those spices together over an open grill and it's moving it along over the grill. That's called jerking. And we jerk everything we can get our hands on in Jamaica. So much to learn about the food. Our coffee. Oh my gosh, Lori, how much time
I
do we have?
loved, oh my God, we're fun. The coffee is
Coffee, the second most expensive coffee in the world. Don't let me tell you how the first one is produced. But oh, our coffee. Wow, 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 wow. Our rums, our liqueurs, our beer. You can get our beer here. Anywhere in the US, you can get Red Stripe beer. So go out and find it. Our ice cream in Jamaica. Oh my gosh, something to try. All our beverages, that bun that you see at the bottom is actually a tradition. During Easter, actually Good Friday, it's a story behind it where we're not to light our stoves before midday. So we came up with this pastry that's had with cheese. So it's a tradition over Easter. It's just so much about Jamaica, so much, ladies and gentlemen. I could go on and on and on, but I'm seeing that you're saying, okay, Diane, shut up. I want to go. So I'm going to close off and I'm going to turn you over to Lori, bombard her with questions. Just say, Lori, I want to go somewhere in Jamaica. She's going to ask you, tell me a little about what you're looking for. She is going to find the right place because she knows who to come to if she can't answer the questions. So, Lori, thank you so much for letting me share a little of my little Jamaica. I'm
oh,
open to questions.
well, thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. And I even learned a few new things, which was really nice. So I enjoyed that a lot. Thank you.
My pleasure. There's always something new
Wonderful.
to learn in Jamaica.
Exactly. And another reason for another visit.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So a few of you had come on after the beginning, so I just wanted to reintroduce myself again, Lori Foster, and tell you a little bit about my company. We're part of, Dream Vacations is part of World Travel Holdings, which is the largest cruise agency and award-winning travel leisure company. So these are some of the brands that we own, and if you look at some of these logos, I'm sure you'll recognize them. The ones up at the top are the ones that we own and we provide all the travel for. But so for some of the other ones, for example, Marriott Rewards or United Vacations, we're the ones who book the cruises for them. So this gives us tremendous buying power with the cruise lines, just the sheer volume of business that we do on behalf of a lot of these other companies as well. So this also gives us a lot of amenities, incentives, and promotions that we are able to share with our clients, many that you wouldn't even get booking direct.
And Lori,
Diane, yes, Diane.
I don't mean to interrupt, but you mentioned cruises, and I did
Mm-hmm.
not mention I mentioned there's a cruise port in Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
There's a seasonal one in Port Antonio. There's an
Mm-hmm.
active one in Ocho Rios.
Yep.
There's one in Falmouth, and there's one
Mm-hmm.
in Montego Bay. When cruises open again?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. We haven't spoke too much about cruises lately,
Mhm.
but they're starting, they're sailing in Europe. So, a little
Yes.
bit, hopefully we'll be getting back to that. And that will be another way that you can visit Jamaica. Although I'd prefer, and I think it's better if you spent more time there, as Diane, I'm sure you can agree, more than one day in
Mhm.
port. But if it's all you have and you go and you stay for one day, you will definitely come back and stay another time for longer. So Diane did mention most of these things that you see here, and one of the big things is what's just happened recently with the coronavirus pandemic, and I'm sure everyone has heard about people being left in foreign countries alone, the 7 or 8 hour hold times with Costco, and no one ever answered. They had to figure it out themselves how to get home. For my clients, I left my cell phone on, something I don't usually do, but I left it on at night for, that week or two to make sure that clients in other time zones in Europe were able to get in touch with me and that I was able to get them home. I
Lori, you're the
also,
best.
Yeah, well, that's the personal service that we give, and these are relationships and trust that we build with our clients. What makes us different than just booking something online by yourself? You don't get that.
Yeah. And you
Um,
may want to mention the other day when you had plans going to Jamaica with the travel
oh yeah,
authorization. Yes.
so yeah, they didn't get their authorization back in time. They'd put it in a little late, and I was trying to help them, and it was tough. I went over everything with them, and so who do I think of right away when I need help with Jamaica? I contacted Diane, and I believe it was a Saturday
Late at
middle.
night.
Yeah,
Right. Yep.
and I
I'm
said,
here
"Oh
for you.
gosh, yeah, I don't know if she's going to answer, but
Oh,
I'm
of
gonna put it out."
course.
She responded within 10 minutes. I told my client to hold on tight, that they were working on it, and he messaged me a few hours later and said, "Are you kidding me? We both got our authorizations pushed through already." So I can't thank you enough, Diane, for that, and my clients as well. They are just over the moon happy. So
Thanks to you,
these are,
Laurie.
yeah, and these are just some of the examples of things that we can do for you and why it's important to use an advisor, the relationships that we have. And again, like Diana had mentioned, with the so many hotels and so many places, there's something for everyone. But you might not know that this hotel that looks great in pictures might not fit what I know that you as a person, because I've talked to you a lot and I've listened to what you like, and I can find the perfect thing for you. So, they say, you can cut your own hair, you can do your own taxes, you can make your own coffee, but a professional can do it better. And that's something that I do every day. And I can really help you plan your dream vacation and make sure that it goes smoothly. And if there are any bumps, that we'll work through them, and everything will be perfect. One last reason is that I'm also a Jamaica travel specialist. So
Yes.
I've gone through the training and everything about all the hotels, all of the destinations, so many things, and also being on property, being on the island many times. So between the two of those together, I'm really here to be able to help you with the fine details and things that you might not know on your own. And then lastly, before we go to any questions, I just wanted to show you that I've got a lot of different Facebook groups where you can kind of find what interests you and join these groups. I'll send you these links in the thank you email, but just for a little more information to keep you going and up to date about what's going on in the travel industry. Okay, so we do have some time for questions. I was monitoring it during the presentation, and I did not see any there, but Diane, have you seen any? I'm going to
No,
take a look now.
if
Hold on. Let's see,
and if
questions here.
anyone has any, they
Yeah,
can
or if
unmute
anyone
it.
wants to come on and unmute and ask questions as well, you're welcome to. Okay, all right. Well,
I
if
like
any,
Heather's background. I know that's
yes.
Jamaican.
Heather comes to a lot of my meetings. She's great. Um, and Belinda also. Hi, Belinda. Nice to see you
Yeah.
again. Don,
Thank you
Sue,
so
Janice,
much.
everyone. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if there's anything that does come up or something, any specific questions that you want, you do have my email. I will be following up with an email, so you'll have my contact information. And next week, I have not decided what we're doing, but I will be doing something. I'll let you know. But the week after, we're moving to the South Pacific. I've got Tahiti one week and then Fiji the next week. So
That's where I
I
should have been
hope,
in May.
yeah. Oh gosh, I was in Fiji in February, right before it shut down. So thankfully, well, you'll be going again, Diane,
Yeah, I
soon,
know.
soon. So, well, thank you everyone again for joining us. And
Thank you
Diane,
so
thank
much,
you
everyone.
again.
Thank you. Oh, my pleasure, Lori. I'm
All
here for
right.
you.
And we'll see you all next week, and have a good
Bye,
evening.
everyone.
Bye-bye.